everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Between Family. I am here with my family. Shoshana, Keish, Noe, and Chaya. And we are here to speak about one man, one sound. Ryan Coogler. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. Because I had to bring my church handkerchief because I was prepared to preach. I was prepared to give a word because of the fact that I was so upset.
Take your time.
I was so upset about the story that came out about Mr. Coogler. And there's a myriad of reasons why I'm upset. But I just want to preface my statement, and then I want y'all to get at your statement. But I want to preface my statement because amongst the four of us, I think that I'm the only one that has the banking experience here. Am I right or no?
You're right. I don't have no banking experience.
As in working in a bank?
Been in banks.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only one that's worked in a bank.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little backstory on just the ins and outs of banking, and then we go into the Ryan Coogler story, because I want you to know that I have a little bit of knowledge and that this is not just a pretty face. So insert 1970, before all of us were born, okay? 1970, you had big time drug trade. You had casinos, you had money laundering that was going on in all facets within the United States. And the United States government could not regulate. So they actually instituted what was called the SAR, the Suspicious Activity Report. This report was what the United States government had put into place for the banks to actually now track money, so that money laundering could actually be traced. Now, because of the fact that launderers were getting quick to the scheme, so then the United States government had to do the AML, the Anti-Money Laundering Report, which a subsection of that was called the BSA. And the BSA brought forth a thing called the CTR, which was a currency transaction report. And the currency transaction report later came down the pipeline after the whole casinos things. So what the currency transaction report did was any cash transaction over $10,000, whether it be a deposit or withdrawal, had to be reported to the government. It didn't matter who the person was. Anybody that did a cash transaction, they had to then fill out a report, and you had to fill out what the money was coming, where the money was coming from, even if it was you were a funeral director. You had to fill out the reasons why the money was coming in, what the purpose of the money was for, so forth and so on. And you had to give your ID. It was checks and balances for the federal government. So the FDIC had a report. They knew where the money was coming from on all transactions. So even if they got so good with it, so even if you were smart about it, because working at a bank for the years that I did, you had people that would come in, be like, hey, I'm just going to deposit $8,000 today. Come in 2 days later, $6,000. 5 days later, take out $9,000. 4 days later, deposit $7,000. But even when you do stuff like that, they still keep an eye on you because it's still large amounts of cash. but they won't report you until it's over 10. So when Ryan Coogler did the whole 10,000 or more, which was 12,000, they had protocols which were in place to verify who he was. And not just verify who he was, but then report it. So if that was not his account, the United States government still would have had all of the information needed to get. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if he wrote on a slip, I would like to withdraw $12,000 out of my personal checking account. Please, I would like to be discreet. Please count it somewhere else.
But according to the New York Times, she had already taken his ID and PIN. And who goes to a bank to only steal $12,000? Just saying.
You got to be America's dumbest.
Only steal $12,000?
Dumbest criminal.
Just taking what you need.
Because the USA Today's article said that his account was flagged because of the CTR. Because it was over $10,000. So his account was already flagged because of the CTR. So that's why the supervisor was called over, because the supervisor has to sign off. And I know that because I was the supervisor signing off on any transaction that was over $10,000.
So,
It doesn't make sense though.
According to the New York Times, now this was just out a few hours ago.
But it happened in January.
Right. So even though he handed her his ID, her stomach started turning. And she flagged it as a high risk transaction and told her manager, I don't feel comfortable about this transaction.
I did see that.
Manager suggested they speak to the customer, but she was scared he may have a gun. So she called 911.
You know, niggas ain't got no money.
Wait, hold up. So wait, the manager wanted to speak.
They talked to the customer. So suggested that they speak with Ryan, but she was scared he may have a gun. So she called 911.
So the manager said, let's speak to the customer. Okay, so because I want to understand. So the manager said, well, maybe I'm gonna be the manager. Maybe we should speak to the customer, but he might have a gun. You know what? Instead, let me call 911.
Right.
Who's the manager then? Like,
right? Which one was the manager?
Oh my gosh!
All right, so let me walk into this bank and fill out this withdrawal slip, hand you my ID, then rob you. That makes perfect sense.
And my 4-digit PIN. But on top of that, and on top of all of that, his name is Ryan Coogler, right? At a branch, you can verify his signature.
True.
If he gives you a PIN, that PIN is only his PIN, but you can also verify his signature. So there were so many ways that you can verify who this person was. And y'all failed on every level. Keish, tell me what you said to me earlier, Keish.
Well, I said, had that been a non-Black person trying to get $12,000, none of that would have happened. because she would have said, you know what, let me double check. Let me bring my manager over. She would have did all the steps prior to calling the cops. Because one thing you do not do to a non-Black person that has thousands of dollars in that bank, you do not make them feel like a crook. Because if you make them feel like a crook, they will remove all that money out of that bank.
That's true.
Cross all their T's and dotted all their I's before the cops was called. Point blank. But because he was wearing a mask, glasses, and a hat, mind you, we're still in COVID, so he had every right to wear a mask.
And he's a celebrity.
And he's filming.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm sure he's filming Black Panther too. So I'm sure that there's protocols on masking.
They just piss me off. Like I'm just like because listen, because listen to this part, right? Because not only are you Ryan Coogler, right? You go into a Bank of America, right? In Atlanta, the Black Mecca of the world, right? You go into a Bank of America while you're filming Black Panther 2, right? You are literally filming Black Panther 2 probably on Tyler Perry Studios, right? That was bought on a Confederate army base, right? So you got all that black excellence, right? So then you the pregnant one, and so it's a high risk transaction. So you work at a bank in Atlanta, so you're literally used to seeing Black men and Black women with a bank. You're used to seeing Black men and women that have money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but this dude made Black Panther.
The biggest.
Well, but that's another thing
movie
though.
of
Wasn't
all time.
somebody in the bank like, hey, lady, this nigga made Black Panther?
Like nobody in
I'm
Atlanta.
sure somebody said his name out loud, like, yo, this is Ryan Coogler. Oh, Black Panther.
Not one person was like, yo, that name sounds familiar.
She said, as a pregnant woman, she had to protect herself and her child.
Yo, people really be making it seem like Black folks was out here committing, like, I don't know, like polite crimes. Like, it's like handing somebody your social security card and being like, give me your money. Like, who does that? Or it's like you go rob a bank and then like leave your home address or something. Like,
give you my fingerprints, I'm gonna rob you right now.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna stand here and wait for you to like, I'm asking you nicely, hey, I'm robbing y'all, but just count that money on the low. It makes no sense.
But
Yo, I went to a bank and I withdrew like $4,000, and even then I was on some more like,
exactly, hey, like you doing it on the low.
You know what I'm saying? She's just like, oh, do you want that in hundreds? Like, why are you talking so loud, man? Like,
yeah, how can I give that to you?
How you want your 4,000, sir?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking around like,
and you know, like a lot of the banks now, especially retail banking, they make it like boutique style. So there's a lot of them don't have like the dividers, and now everything is open. So it's like
everybody hears everything.
Yeah. So he's just like, hey, I like to be discreet. I don't want I want to take money out of my personal checking. Can you count it to the side?
First of all, if you're going up there, it's for like more than $20. So it's just like, I don't want everybody else in the bank to know I'm leaving out with $5,000.
Yeah.
Follow me. I'm taking a 2 train. It's just...
And when you think about it, Ryan is from Oakland.
Yeah.
Ryan, he's from
they say humble
humble beginnings. You know what I'm saying? And when you hear him speak, even when he did Black Panther, I literally watched every interview that he did. Like I watched every interview, everything that he did, because I was like, yo, this director, this nigga, you know, I like idolized him. So this joint hit a side of me that was, this is my brother. Like, you don't do that to my brother. And the fact that this chick is talking about she had to protect her baby from what? From greatness?
And wait, Shawnee, you said like she felt her stomach turn.
She said, according to the New York Times, her stomach started turning.
Okay, I've been pregnant 3 times. That was the baby. That was the baby turning, not her damn.
So she tried to make it seem like something about Ryan was off. So the baby was trying to tell her something.
You know, this reminds me, and I had mentioned this to you earlier, Chaya, that unfortunately, and especially for Black men, and Noe, I'm pretty sure you've been through this, where when you get stopped by a cop, you got to get yourself prepared. Like, you got to make sure your hands is up on the steering, because you got to make sure no one feels uncomfortable. You know, before the cop gets there, you got to sit still like a robot and put your hands up, I guess, on the steering wheel or whatever. Don't go like this. Don't go like this, because what happens? You can get shot and killed. This man came in with a hat, some glasses, and a mask on his face, and he was deemed as a bank robber. It's, you know,
by his own.
Yeah, that was the part I was like, we got to mention that she was Black.
By his own. Did it say what the manager was?
No.
And I'm pretty sure, as a Black woman, if that was a non-person, she would have took the time to really assess the situation before she starts feeling the baby, asking the baby if the baby's uncomfortable in this situation. She would have crossed all her teeth with her eyes.
I mean, I don't really get it though.
Said something about Mr. John Smith.
Like, obviously, I never worked at a bank, but I just don't understand what's so hard in just following protocol. If somebody asks you for a certain amount of money, you ask for whatever it is you need to get. If they give it to you, they enter the PIN number, they give you the card, they give you their ID. You call your manager, they sign off on it, and you give them the money. Like, if all goes well, great. If it just so happens that this person's breaking the law, I mean, it's not your fault. They had all the documentation and whatever it is that they needed to do it. So, I mean,
but there's also protocols in place that if there is someone that is actually there to rob you, there's actually things that you're supposed to give the person so that they can leave the bank. Like the fact that anybody. And not harm anybody. So the fact that y'all waited for the police and y'all literally had the man handcuffed.
And his friend.
Yeah, they said they rolled up on his people outside first.
Outside. Talk about the car was running. So now it's a crime to have people outside. The car was parked. The car was in park, but it was on. So you can't be idling.
I'm going to go a little step further. So now say it was a non-Black person. I'm pretty sure before they put this non-Black person in handcuffs, or even while they had handcuffs on him, and I'm pretty sure Coogler was saying some things like, listen, you need to look at my ID. I'm pretty sure he didn't just stand there and just, let them arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
Said some words, and
all he has to say is, I made Black Panther.
Exactly. And non-Black, they would have stopped and said, oh, wait, you created, you created the movie Titanic? For real? Oh, this is the guy that created Titanic. Take these handcuffs off. Who called the police? I'm just saying. And I'm pretty sure the people outside in the car spoke up. So these 3 people said whatever they said, and they still was arrested.
So he said that he was standing there. So I guess he said, I'll be back. So he's standing there thinking
that she went to go get the money.
Went to go get the money
and she's counting it.
When he heard the sound of guns being taken out of their
holster, shut the front door and close the back one.
So, and again, this is all according to the New York Times.
My God. Could you imagine? Oh, I'm sorry.
That young lady, first of all, her manager, the whole squad.
I'm sure they've been fired. I'm sure by now.
No, we don't know. We don't know. And the fact that Ryan did not come out with this and held this joint, because this would have been like, I'd have been like Jeremiah. This would have been fire burning in my bones.
Listen, I would have did like, what's my boy that had the noose around his neck and went to the police department?
Oh.
Juicy. It'd have been Juicy Smoulier. It'd have been Juicy Smoulier about this piece. I'd have been with two Nigerians. I'd have been with the two Nigerians. Be like, come on. We got to go tell our story.
That happened. He reported it right away. We heard about it the next day.
Be like, see what happened. He said he heard them taking the guns out of the houses.
Mm-hmm. What do you say to him though? Like, hey, you robbing the bank? Like,
because I'm sure he's waiting. He probably like leaning on one of the telestations like on his phone.
Yep.
Not looking robbery.
Well, I had mentioned a while ago when we first started taping these shows. I remember one day I was sitting there in my car on a lunch break, and I saw a video where the guy must have had like some mental issues. So he robbed a bodega, a corner store. So he robbed the bodega and stole 2 cans of sodas. And so he put the 2 cans, he literally walked out the bodega, and it just so happened somebody coincidentally was taping it for whatever reason. I don't even know why they were taping this. But the guy came out the bodega, put the 2 cans of sodas that he stole on the ground and was standing there. And the owner of the store must have been telling him, like, I just called the cops on you. So he was standing there waiting for the cops. All you saw was this SWAT team come up. They drove up. He's standing there. He didn't put his hand, he just had his hands down. They drove up, pat, shot him right away. Right away. And even the owner was like, oh, shoot. Then after they shot him, they taking the yellow tape and going around the perimeter. And listen, oh, that's all I got to say.
Where was this?
I can't remember what state this was in. But you know what? It don't even matter what state it's in. That's the same story in every state.
True.
But
the angle that the guy was taping this, you know that they didn't even know. He was like maybe like a few feet away. So I know the cops didn't see that, because if they knew somebody was taping it, they would have followed the protocol.
Not necessarily, because we've seen things on, you
True.
know.
Yeah,
like
well, usually when people know they being filmed, you know, they get, you know, they smile for the camera.
Before I shoot, you got this angle?
but
sir, do you know why we're detaining you?
But okay, to some 12 G's is a lot, but to a lot of people, it's not a lot. It's a thing of IVF, it's a down payment, it's work on a house. So it's not that he's Ryan Coogler status, because I know the everyday folks who have done the exact same thing, because they don't have like those slips anymore.
And now a lot of the banks, they don't even have tellers. So a lot of them, you have to go to the ATMs and take out money from them. Yeah. But like, you're not even allowed to have money. And I think the part that pisses me off the most is Atlanta is praised as one. I was just watching, or I just scrolled past, like, I follow one of these accounts on Instagram about Black wealth, and one of the, and Atlanta came in number one as the thriving place for Black. And you can't even go into a bank in Atlanta and withdraw $12,000
as a millionaire.
As a director of a feature Marvel
Black Panther
film.
It's like isn't it in like the top
Do you
5
not see?
of all the
Do you not see? Do you not see Chadwick?
Oh Lord, here she goes.
Do you not see Chadwick?
No.
You know his sister by now.
Do you not see?
You know his sister by now.
He literally he put Michael B. Jordan on. That chick Harvey wouldn't have even looked Michael B. Jordan in direction if Ryan didn't.
Okay, Michael B. Jordan was sexy from the time he was on the floor getting shot in the back. When he came off that train, he was sexy from then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Ryan gave him that. Ryan gave him. Yeah, Ryan gave him that chance at Fruitvale and Creed, and Killmonger.
Okay.
Do you not realize that Ryan was the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
In all three.
Right.
Ryan was in all three things.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can't even you're there directing Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2, which was halted because of COVID, and you were there filming on another billionaire's Black soundstage in a Black excellence epicenter, and then you leave that Black excellence epicenter to go and get some money from your Black excellence bank account just to have this twitch in this chick's belly.
So for anybody
that
that
a baby.
So anybody who's not understanding why Chaya is a little upset, let's look at it a different lens.
Thank you, sissy.
One day, Steven Spielberg. How am I saying it right? How you say it? Spielberg. He goes in the bank and tries to take out $11,000, and he hands a slip talking about, can you count it on the side or be discreet? Do you think that same young lady would have went through the same channels and called the cops if it was Steven Spielberg? Hell no, she wouldn't have done
it. I just can't get over the fact that this is the most polite robbery on planet Earth. I can't understand it. Hey, here's my PIN. Here's my debit card. Here's my ID. You want me to? Here's my withdrawal. Like, if I'm in a bank, who's filling out a withdrawal form?
The baby did a kick us. He's a crook. He's a crook.
Your baby who has never entered the realm of the living.
But again, who goes to a bank and only acts for $12,000?
Like, you walk in a Chase Bank and it's like, give me 12 G's now. It's like, what?
Give me all your money. I mean 12 G's.
It's like, what is that on the counter right there? I'll just take that.
Nobody does that.
It's like, we came up in here with guns and machetes just for $12,000.
Because I'm just like, did he slip a note with like, I have weapons on me? Like, don't try anything?
Yeah.
No, he said he was to take it from his account after he did his PIN and his ID. So I'm going to show you my address to where I live as I rob you.
And whoever, like, please, I need somebody to tell us what's going to happen. What happened to the manager and the staff there?
The manager is I would say 80% to blame of that. 80%, because you're the boss of that young lady. So you're gonna let that young lady tell you what she's gonna do? Sad.
Did you see what he looked like while he was in the bank?
Yeah, he had on a little, he had on a Scully with his mask.
Did you see? Because it was very scary for them.
He looked like me.
You know, he looked,
like,
I mean, to me, he looked
every other Black person in the bank. Because do we want everyone in the bank to hear me say, I need my $12,000. Look at me. I'm taking out 12 G. No.
Or even like that show, his mask was like a blue color, right? Or a light color.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, don't bank robbers come and do like the dark mask and like a surgical mask. Like,
yeah, they don't
like I'm robbing y'all, but I'm following COVID protocol.
So right now, I'm gonna tell you exactly why this happened.
But you can never be too safe.
For my theory, you know, I always got a theory to something. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Because when COVID was real in March of 2020, in April of 2020, in May of 2020, people of Georgia was not wearing masks back then.
Right.
They wasn't wearing masks back then.
That's true.
I went to Georgia recently, and me and my husband were the only ones wearing masks.
You're right, because you know COVID wasn't in Georgia.
So maybe this young lady was like, who wears masks in Georgia? You gotta be a robber. That's what happened.
Something ain't right. Yeah, something ain't right.
Because listen, that's what happened. Because think about
COVID
it.
COVID never made it to Georgia.
No, COVID never made it to Atlanta.
By summer of 2020, most of those people in Georgia were not wearing masks.
Yes.
Most of them. I told you when my son came to visit us in September of 2020, actually it was like, no, it was like June, July. So you know how by that point everyone had the tents outside their restaurants?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, he's from Georgia. We driving around in Staten Island. He's like, why y'all have all these tents outside your restaurants? We were like, y'all don't have tents? He was like, no, we never had tents. He's like, matter of fact, we stopped wearing masks in like May to go in restaurants. So this is one of the reasons why this young lady did not recognize a mask being placed on someone's face.
And Ryan is from California. California was wearing masks.
Yes.
But because he's filming, they have to, I'm sure, obey certain things so they can keep filming.
Yep.
They have to have certain protocols on that set.
I'm sure they have strict protocols.
Yeah, so that, you know, I'm not like I said, I'm not condoning what she did, but I will say this. I went to Georgia a couple times.
No.
It's a pandemic and they don't wear masks.
I was there in June of 2020. And I was the only one. I'm just like, well, where's COVID? Because it ain't in Atlanta.
But even though, and to retract, not to retract, but to go back to my statement about how Georgia was not wearing a mask from 2020, if Steven Spielberg in that situation came into that bank and had a mask on and she was not used to seeing people with masks, just the fact that his skin color was a lighter hue, she would have like, you know, let me just double check first before I call the cops on this gentleman, because I want to make sure this gentleman is, you know, legit. She would have double checked.
Because now Bank of America, like
That's the bank, right? It was Bank of America.
Yeah.
Bank of America. Bank of America was the one.
Well, he did say that they worked
Right.
with him and addressed it to his
satisfaction.
his
But we don't care, Ryan. You know we behind you. We behind you, Ryan.
Yep.
I'm
And they
closing
was
my
the
account
first
today.
one to,
That's what I was just like, yo, this making me think.
y'all was the first one to teach me about them CTRs, them
That's what I'm
currency
just
transaction
like, yo,
reports.
What are y'all doing?
Listen, you don't mess with Ryan. That's Wakanda forever. He made
But
that.
again, I go back to that
We ain't letting this go.
people who have done the exact same thing. So it's just like,
listen, what's his name? Umbaku? I'm gonna be going past the.
We will not have it.
Fast time. I'll be going past the. Listen, you nope. Listen.
you stupid.
What about this piece? Let me tell you
You
something.
stupid.
Let me tell you something. We ain't letting it slide. We ain't letting it slide, Ryan. Nope. No.
Let me ask you, Noe, have you ever been in a situation as a black man, which you are, where you felt like you were in an environment that you had to make the people around you feel comfortable around you so they wouldn't be in fear of their life?
Yeah, that's pretty much all the time.
Like every day. Every day. That would be Monday through Sunday.
Sunday.
Like that's just a part of that's just everyday life at this point.
Monday.
It doesn't even matter what it is. I remember I was walking through the city. I was going to this it was like I forgot what it's called, but it was a perfume cologne warehouse. It's on 6th Avenue. So I'm just walking and I'm looking.
Wholesale district.
Yeah. So I'm walking and I'm just like, looking. And I look in front of me and this lady walks out of a store in front of me. So I'm walking and then she keeps turning around as though I wasn't walking down the street before you came out the store.
Right.
So mind you, I'm not paying any attention. I'm looking around. I got my headphones on and I notice like she keeps turning and looking and she keeps turning and looking and I'm just walking and I'm like, yo, where's the store at? So the store is like more towards the middle, towards end, like kind of like, you know how like some stores are like long. So like, even though like the building's long, the door to the store is like in the middle of the block or something weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going down and this girl turns around and she looks at me, but she stops walking. And I was just like, did she just stop walking so that she could now be behind me? So I'm walking. So I see the stores, I see the door, and I just turn around and she's walking again. So I was just like, yo, I wasn't following you. I was just like, and she's like, oh no. I'm just like, nah, it's cool. I know why you did. Like I wasn't following.
You address the situation.
Yeah. No, like for me, I'm at a point now where like I ain't playing with people anymore.
Yeah.
Like if you hit me with any of the race stuff, I'm calling you on it. And whether we talk about it or whatever, you ain't getting away with that with me anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Them days is over.
I hear you.
You sure she didn't think you were like Sean Puffy?
And you was mad ugly. No. Like I hate when people do stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, follow me. Like, ain't nobody following you.
Maybe she thought you were a rapper. Like, maybe she thought you were a rapper. Or...
Yo, speaking of as people who think you're something that you're not, yo, you ever walk in a store and they're like, oh my gosh, do you work here? Nah, nigga, the people with the orange aprons on in Home Depot work here. Like that, it's so like that joint is mad annoying.
I get it.
I actually did that to a brother in Target and I felt so bad.
It's different. Like if you got on a red polo or something in Target, that's different.
You got on a red shirt.
No, he was
That's
picking
your
up
fault.
bags by where I was. And I was like, oh, you can take this too. He just needed extra bags for himself. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Didn't have on a red shirt.
He did, and he just had on a leather jacket. But you know, sometimes they be wearing their own stuff.
Not in Target.
No, sometimes they be rogue.
I know. I've only seen them.
I've been slipping. I've been slipping sometimes, and then I can't see sometimes. I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
no. People are mad weird. Like I'll be in a full on like in a sweat. I always got on sweats. I'll be like, you could be walking through DSW. And like, do you work here?
A coat and scarf on, like I got my pocketbook, and you asking if I work here? Really? Like I got my hood on, I got a coat. Like, come on! Like I got my pocketbook. Like, do I look like I'm working?
Like that joint happened. It happens to me everywhere, but in Home Depot and Lowe's is where I get tight because I'm like, yo, the dudes that work here got on aprons. Right. Especially in Home Depot, yes. They got on bright orange aprons.
Orange, yes.
No, your brother takes that question with pride. Be like, no, but what can I do you for? Get you ain't going to. What can I do you for? Well, if you look at the camshaft over in your rocker,
you're not going to talk about my brother because when I am in Home Depot,
what can I do you for?
Some advice.
You call
him.
He be waiting for somebody to be like, "Do you work here?" No, but what can I do you for?
You ain't going to talk about
for the plaster and.
Well, ladies, let me pose the same question to you both. Have you ever been in a situation where you
all the time?
All the time.
All the time. But I'm trying to purposely, I'm trying to intentionally reverse it and just consistently be me.
Gotcha.
Like even when I go and pick up Winky, I'm trying to consistently be me and not change my voice. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And be like, oh, because you know one thing that we do, even when we go to the store, and I think all of us do it, when we and we're walking through the aisle and we say, excuse me, sorry, what are we sorry for?
Right.
Nigga, you walking, I'm walking, move. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we sorry for? What are we saying? Okay. No, I'm walking down the aisle, you're in the aisle, nigga, move. You, all right, move. Now I don't even try to.
I just say excuse me.
I stop saying excuse me because they don't even look my way. If they say excuse me, then I'm like, oh, excuse me. But then sometimes I just walk.
If they don't move, just stand in front of them. Like if you in the supermarket aisle and people blocking a thing and they clearly see you're waiting, just walk in front of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes I push their cart. But like a lot of times I notice myself constantly apologizing, like for just being. Mm-hmm. What am I sorry for? Oh, like, sorry. I'm walking down the aisle. Oh, sorry. What am I sorry for?
I actually get the reverse of that.
Huh?
I actually get the reverse of that, in particular with women. Like if I'm walking down an aisle and, for lack of a better way of saying it, they're in my way per se, they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'll be like, no, you're good. Like, I feel like a lot of times they're saying sorry out of fear.
Yes.
And that's, and I think, I don't think I say it out of fear, but I think I say it because it's like, it's a subconscious thing. Like I'm saying sorry for just being present. And like, instead of just standing in my agency and saying, I'm here, I'm in this aisle, or I'm in this place, and I deserve to be here. You deserve to be here. And if we cross paths, we can still be in the same aisle. We can still be in the same store and coexist. But it's like, I have to kind of retrain my brain to know that I can be and you can be and not be apologetic for it. You understand? Does that sound like crazy?
No, I get it. I get the same as Noe. I was in I forgot what store, and I'm online, and it's the day after the DJ Cassidy thing, and it was all the reggae folks. So I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, so I'm tuned out.
Where were you?
Just too happy. You didn't see the DJ Cassidy, the Pastor Mike?
Where were you actually, like?
In ShopRite.
Oh, Shop. Okay.
I'm tuned out. Like, I'm, and
yo, it's mad funny that you did that, because he sent that joint to me, and I was listening to it in the locker room at the gym. I was in the gym like,
I'm telling you, you can't help it.
What's the name of that dance again when you go back?
That's the bogle.
Yes.
Did you see Shaka Demon's sidebar? Did he look like that was his first time out in at least 20 years? He was like, he was mad hype.
I ain't go front. That joint was fire. That joint got super turned when Super Cat came on. I was just like,
when he came on, that was it. I lost my mind.
But wait, why you pull out the umbrella like it was a gun?
Yo, Super Cat, I used to be in love with that.
I think everybody was in love with Super Cat.
Girl. Anyway, go back to your bogling and
I'm sorry. You was in ShopRite. My bad.
And the woman comes and she's like, "Oh, I want you just to know I'm not skipping you. I just want to move out of the way." I'm like, huh? Like, I'm not paying her. Like, what? Like, huh?
Now, what you talking about?
And she says that, "Oh, I just didn't want you to think that I was skipping you. That was just like, I wasn't paying you any attention."
Essentially, she was saying, I just didn't want you to beat my ass in case you thought I was skipping.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was the interpretation.
Yeah. And they do that to me a lot too. I'm just like, I wasn't thinking that, but you can best believe if you did try.
Thank you. I'd say so.
I was on it.
I was on it. In here.
She done messed my whole vibe. I'm bummed.
Now I got to go back to the beginning.
Now I got to get back to my vibe.
Well, for me, 2 quick stories. One of the issues I have, like I go to like 2 or 3 beauty supply stores in my area, and they know me by now because I've been buying stuff from them for years. So they know me, and but in the beginning, I would always pick an item up and bring it to the counter.
Yeah, no, I do that too.
Bring it to the counter. Because they will always have this, no shade, a little Mexican or a little Spanish person following me around the store because they was afraid I was gonna rob them. I'm like, I'm not robbing you. I mean, the other girls may rob you, but I'm not robbing you. The fact that I had to make them feel comfortable by putting every item on the counter. And then I told you guys this story before, and I mentioned it earlier today, Chaya, when we were talking. You know, as a nurse going into people's homes, like sometimes I go into some homes and they are so beautiful. The furniture's nice, the blinds are nice, the driveway looks beautiful. I never crack my lips and tell them anything beautiful about their house. Because the day something's missing, let it be a fork missing in that house. Guess who stole it? Me. So I don't even crack my lips. And one day I was training a Caucasian lady, and she was cool enough for me to tell her this. And we came into her house, I'm training her, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is gorgeous." And she was really, because it was a badass house. Gorgeous. And I said to her, I said, as a Black woman, I don't compliment people's houses. She's like, "For real?" I was like, "Yeah, because they might think I'm robbing them." So I think the frustration is, if this was like
we just can't be.
If it was
we can't be rich, we can't be poor.
1908, if it was 1954,
but it's
2022, and still have to deal with the nonsense.
But did she look at his account? Like, did she see balance, because I'm sure he got a stash in the account.
I was thinking the same thing, because I feel like if you got I don't know, if you got at least like 6 figures in your account, withdrawing $10,000
It's not a lot of
would
money.
seem like fairly standard.
Mere shillings.
Let me ask you a question. The last name Coogler, is that African American?
I know he's African American. He's an ADOS, an American descendant of slaves.
That was Shaquille O'Neal. O'Neal is more like an Irish last name.
Oh, so
let's see.
So like Coogler.
Shaquille is definitely black though.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like his first name is Shaquille.
Yeah, Shaquille.
But let's talk about
a German. It says it's a German.
Like for example, if he came up with the last name Spielberg as a black man, the point I'm trying to make is maybe she was like, wait a minute, this black man is stealing from a white man's account. I'm just thinking outside the box.
No, the baby was thinking for her. But like I was saying, Humbaku, leader of the Jabari tribe. Listen, let me tell you something.
You watch entirely too much Black Panther.
To boycott Bank of America. We're gonna have to stick together. Because if we don't stand together, we're gonna fall for anything. We got to stick together. Because I see that Variety changed their little statement that you said that they
did.
Because I went and looked and they had changed that little statement because I was like, they said he was up and coming.
They said promising.
Promising director.
Promising.
They changed that real quick.
He directed one of the biggest movies of all times.
Ever.
He is not promising.
Thank you. Anyway, so does anyone have any last statements before I put this on first time?
Yeah, I'm a mobile on out.
I don't work at Home Depot. I don't work at Lowe's. I don't work at the dollar store. And I don't work at Target.
Or the perfume store?
Or the perfume store. And I don't follow people in the street.
Oh, you don't?
You can see me on the street and smile.
But how can you follow someone if they were
already on the street?
On the street before you came out.
That showed you that she wasn't too bright.
Like you were already.
That showed you that she wasn't too bright.
Just people need to cross their T's and dot their I's before they call the cops on a black man.
I know that's right.
And most people won't go into a bank for only $12,000
and give you all their information,
their ID and PIN,
and be willing to fill out that CTR.
Yes, like
okay.
And park right outside the front door.
Yes, park the getaway car right outside.
Not down the street and pull up when I'm done. Just sit outside.
And then
where everybody can see you.
Where everybody can see you.
Wait ever so gently while the cops come. Just checking emails. Looking
at the text.
Like, what's going on? There's a commotion going on. What's going on? They just got their guns out. What is going on over here? Oh, yeah, for me? These niggas is for me. Tisk.
What kind of car were they in? Does it say anything about that?
No.
It didn't say. It just said that they detained the two and put them two in the back of they paddy wagon.
Because it's like if you're sitting outside in the Range Rover and somebody's like, I heard you guys were stealing $12,000.
Like my car
that I'm driving $100,000 car.
It's like, yeah, I was going to get the down payment so I can go buy another car or something. Like
It just doesn't. I'm sorry. No way you.
I don't know. Well,
No way
she
you
was black
smack it
too,
and
so
flip
I
it
don't
and
know.
rub it down.
So
It just sounds dumb.
I don't know. People are weird.
That was our own people.
Yeah. Like make it make sense. Memes.
Yeah.
Just memes. It's just memes. Make it make sense. First time.
This don't make sense.
I'm ashamed. I'm appalled, and I got nothing.
Or maybe she just thought, like, since he came in there with his little hoodie on or his hat and his, maybe she was just like, I don't know. She, in her mind, she thinks somebody who's coming to get that kind of money should show up in a suit. I don't know. I'm not saying that she's right or wrong. I don't know.
I've lived in some very hoity-toity places, and the people that don't look like me, and they dressed like stone cold bums.
Yes.
They shoes have holes in them. They stuff look old.
Except for my man,
$10 million in the bank.
Who had the U-neck. He wore the U-neck shirts all year round. But everybody else, like, wasn't nobody checking. Like everybody, all of the people that looked that they wasn't dressed in no ways. We're the only ones that have to wear our wealth to show that we got money.
Yes.
And that's the part that pisses me off.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Bill Gates, for a while, he wore that same blue sweater.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. Every interview.
Ryan, if you want, we'll come up to Tyler Perry Studios and we will come and we will sit down with you, Ryan, and we will make sure that we have a plan with you and M'Baku and the entire cast and Angela Bassett. We know that Killmonger kills Zuri, so we know he's not gonna be there. But we know we can come up there, we can make sure that everything is all right, make sure you're all right. Because we support you and the cats, okay?
I'm done.
Listen, Ryan, if you got any extra money from this little lawsuit or whatever, you please cash out my sister. She is really hurt behind this. I think she needs to sue Bank of America. You can do that, right?
I'm traumatized.
Remember there was a game that the referees had called, like it was something happened when the referees did something wrong. And people sued. Like regular people at the game were suing because they were hurt behind the results of the game because of the referees. So I think you need to sue Chaya. I really think that you need to sue Bank of America.
I think you're right.
Because this has really hit you hard. And you know it's sad because
power to the people.
As you've been,
you're stalled.
What happened? How we get to the end?
She stalled.
Thank
you all for joining this episode of Between Family. It's always a stone cold blast. Until next time,